right, good morning everybody.
Morning.
All 12 of you. Welcome to DuePoint. My name's Rob van der Bijl. I'm one of the executives here at DuePoint. I'm going to be spending the next 45 to 60 minutes with you. We're going to go through what this business is all about. After the presentation, you're welcome to come speak to me afterwards and ask me any questions that you might have. Welcome to everyone who's tuned in on the live stream. All right, so let's begin. As you can see, DuePoint is a division of Constantia Insurance Company Limited. Constantia is a registered insurance company in South Africa. They were founded in 1952, so we've been around for a very long time. That's their building in the background. We don't share offices with them. They're just down the road here in Randburg. That's the orange logo that they use. The FSP number that we operate under is that one over there. That's very important, our financial services provider number. You'll notice in the foyer we've got all our financial services board licenses up on display. So go take a look at those. We've got a long and short-term insurance license. We've got an investment license. We've got our FSP license on display. And we've also got our accreditation with the Direct Marketing and the Direct Selling Association. So as you can see, we take credibility very seriously. It's obviously a fundamental step in making any decision to join a business. So we want you to trust the business that we're going to be speaking about. You're welcome to go do a background check on the business. The executives and the managers are these individuals up on screen. The first three people are registered chartered accountants, starting with our boss, or my boss should I say, our senior executive, Brendan Benfield. He's got a lot of experience in financial services, particularly in insurance, because he's been involved in insurance his entire life. His father's actually a professor of insurance, taught at Wits for 25 years. His father's been involved in the insurance market for 50 years. He started a number of businesses globally. He's founded Clientele Life. Brendan and his brother Stuart followed in their father's footsteps. They went on to found a short-term insurer based just down the road from us called Prime Meridian Direct, or PMD, and that's a very successful business. In the last 10 years, they're now the fourth biggest short-term insurer in the country. So we've got wonderful insurance pedigree in the Benfields. So very lucky to have Brendan heading up this division. Then we have Tim and Stacey. Tim's very experienced in corporate banking. He was with the First Rand Group for 15 years, a fairly senior position there. Stacey has been working at Deloitte all her career, so she's very experienced in auditing, and together they look after all the financial, the auditing, the accounting, and some of the regulatory aspects of our business. So those are the boring accountants. Then Jane and myself, we're not accountants. You can see they're ignoring us too. Can you see that? We're kind of standing on the outskirts. But Jane is very experienced in direct marketing, direct selling, or network marketing. She's from the UK. She's been in South Africa for about 10 years now, but she brings international experience to our team. Because even though we're an insurance business, our growth is very much dependent on our ability to work within the network marketing space successfully. And Jane's a very important component of that. And then myself, I've been working in marketing and advertising all my career for the last 20 years. I ran a digital agency for 15 years, exited that business to actually join the team here. But that's our senior staff. We've got client service staff, we've got admin staff. The mandate of the staff in this business is to support everybody that joins us. So that's one of our number one priorities in the business, because we can only be profitable if the people joining us and collaborating with us are being effective. And so we do everything in our power to support you in that endeavor. So that's a bit of background on us. You're welcome to go Google us, check out our Facebook profile, see we haven't been up to any mischief in the past. This is our negative slide. Unfortunately, I like to discuss the negative aspects because I think these are the driving factors that lead us to look at getting involved in some entrepreneurial activity. And unfortunately, it is negative. We look at the economy. The economy looks like the inflation that we see, high interest rates, very high food inflation. We see it in the fact that our salaries are not keeping up with what the cost of living is increasing by. So you'll know that by the end of the month, right? It seems like you're losing this battle against the cost of living every month. Every month, food seems to be going up. And that's true for all South Africans. We're all in this economic problem that doesn't seem to be resolving itself and is not going to resolve itself for a very long time. Unfortunately, what we do, and we're often criticized as an economy, that we engage too much in debt. I don't know if people try to fix this issue that they have using debt, because that's not really a solution. You might think that you're a little richer when you get a credit card, but actually you've just made your problems a lot worse. And South Africans engage in far too much debt and not enough in savings or investment products. But perhaps that paints a picture of what our economy looks like. And this debt cycle that we find ourselves in certainly becomes exacerbated, because what happens is by the time we get to retirement, you're going to be faced with a number of questions when you get to retirement. You might be ignoring that prospect today, but certainly you can't ignore it when you hit retirement and suddenly you don't have an income at the end of the next month. And those questions you're going to ask yourself is, what have I done in the last 40 to 45 years to secure myself a dignified retirement? And unfortunately, the statistics that we get from the FSB paint a very desperate picture of what retirement looks like for the majority of us. And when I say the majority of us, we're saying about 97% of people will retire financially dependent. That means you're going to get to retirement, you're not going to have enough to survive the next month. And so we become dependent on children that are hopefully earning a living, and now we become a burden to our children, burden to other family members. We have to downgrade our lifestyles to such a degree that we can actually survive. And I don't think anyone can survive on government grants. So really what this presentation is about changing. The audio's working, all right? Just checking. And so what the presentation is really about is about empowering you to change your circumstance now and for the future. Out of all of this negativity, as a business, we saw an opportunity to create a platform for the average South African to engage in. We call it the DuePoint system. It was launched almost 2 years ago now. We have 3 aspirations in mind for the people that join us. So you might be thinking, well, I'm just here to earn money. But money is just a means to an end. The end are these 3 aspirations that we have in mind for you. So the first aspiration is for you to get rid of your debt as quickly as possible. That certainly wasn't an aspiration of mine. I think for the 20 years that I worked, I just imagined that debt was a way of life, right? Whether it was a credit card or an overdraft or a bond, it always seemed to be there. Nothing that I did really seemed to solve the problem. But having joined this business, there's really been a paradigm shift for me. So a shift in thinking where I thought, actually, you need to aspire to becoming debt-free. Because in life, I imagine all of us aspire to creating wealth, right? We all want to be wealthy. But the first step of that is getting rid of debt. Can you create wealth if you owe other people money? You cannot. So our first aspiration is to become debt-free. The second aspiration is, yes, to start creating wealth. And we do that through owning assets of our own and creating investments that hopefully appreciate. And the third aspiration happens all on its own, and that's just to be happier, because you're hoping that becoming debt-free, creating wealth leads to happiness. And I can say 95% of the time it does, right? Unfortunately, money solves a lot of problems in life. So this business is really about trying to solve that one issue. So our guests here this morning, you have the opportunity to join DuePoint. You contract with us, and once you contract with us, we call you wealth engineers. As wealth engineers, you only have one task at DuePoint, and that is to go out and build what we call channels of distribution. And I'll show you what a channel of distribution looks like, because it's our primary focus here. And through these channels of distribution that you're going to be building, which is really just you introducing people to DuePoint, our online platform will facilitate the sale of products to those individuals. And that's basically how the entire business works. The benefit for you is that you get to create an additional income stream for yourself. Yes, this is obvious. This is why you're here this morning. But the nature of the income that we produce here is one that is recurring. So this is very important. Some people refer to it as passive income. I fondly refer to how my father described it to me when I was very young. He said, it's the ability to make money while you're sleeping. Right? I didn't believe him. I went to speak to my mom. I said, Mom, is Dad lying to me again? But those were sage words, right? And something I didn't come to realize until probably after 10 years of running my business, because our business was in a position where we weren't creating recurring income. We weren't in a position ever to create this passive income. So what did that mean? It meant that for every cent that my business earned, we would have to work for it. There would have to be someone designing or developing or doing something to earn that money. And we would never earn money beyond that effort, right? So at the end of every month, we started at 0 again. And you had problems like when everyone went on leave. All your staff would go on leave in December. No one would generate income. The company would have to have enough in a fund to get through December and typically January. And I went through this cycle for 15 years before I decided no more. I don't want to be part of a business that doesn't create recurring income. Recurring income is actually something that's inherent to insurance companies. So you get to share in this benefit of creating recurring income. We harness the power of duplication in this business. This is leverage. This, again, is very important. Recurring income and power duplication is your ability to rid yourself of the time constraint, right? To make money while you're sleeping. So when you're building these channels of distribution, what you're actually doing is you're bringing other like-minded individuals into your business to work with you, to collaborate with you. I trust that everyone has very limited time. We all probably have full-time jobs. You probably can only sacrifice an hour, maybe 2 hours at the most for this business on a daily basis. But when you go out and you find 20 other like-minded individuals that start collaborating with you, suddenly you've got 20 or 40 hours being invested into your business on a daily basis, in turn increasing your recurring income. The business is flexi time. So what does that mean? That means you get to decide what it looks like, your engagement with DuePoint. What does that look like? Is it every Saturday morning? Is it every day? Is it every morning in the week? You get to decide what that looks like for you. But at the same time, never make the mistake of thinking that you can treat this business like a hobby or a New Year's resolution. Hobbies and New Year's resolutions we do when we feel like it, right? Starting your own business and trying to be successful in creating wealth, you have to do it when you don't feel like it. That's the difference. So that's my warning up front. That's just a tip. There's no startup capital. There's no registration fees. We don't ask you to invest in boxes of product to get started in this business. So we make the business as risk-free as possible. There's no qualifications or experience required in this business. Did anyone bring their CVs with them today? No. Nobody? No. Huh? You think this is a handout? Fortunately, we don't care about your CVs. What I care about is whether you have work ethic. Work ethic. It's a big word, right? One that my father taught me, fortunately. One of the things my father taught me was work ethic. He works in mining, and miners work hard, right? Their first shift starts at like 5 o'clock in the morning. My dad was out the house before I even knew he was out the house, right? So work ethic, that's all we care about here. I don't worry about your background, your qualifications, whether you got work experience or not, whether you got a matric or not, whether you got a degree or not. It doesn't matter. Your engagement and the amount of time and effort that you spend in this business is what matters. And so the business becomes accessible to everybody. You get to build an asset. Now, this is probably one of the most important benefits, right? This is the one benefit that you should look at this business and go, this is why I'm going to sacrifice time into this business. And that's because the channel of distribution that you build here is one you have legal tender over. It means you have ownership over this channel of distribution that you're building. Right? This is the opposite of employment. Because I trust we're all employed here. We're working for somebody else. We will work for somebody else for a lifetime. For 40 to 45 years, investing time, sacrificing the majority of our lives, building up somebody else's asset, where we don't get to partake in the upside. If your business starts doing well this year, do you suddenly get a bigger dividend check every quarter? Do you go home and tell your spouse, oh, look, our shares have increased in the business I work for, right? Do you get a bigger bonus suddenly at the end of the year? It's usually only the executives and the top salespeople in the business that get bonuses. The rest of us don't. We beg for a 5% increase once a year, where food inflation is sitting at 10%. In this business, the time that you're sacrificing into this asset, you have ownership over. It means you can sell it. It means it'll keep paying you once you're retired. It'll keep paying out once you die. It means you can leave it in your will, right? It becomes part of your estate. You get to pass wealth onto your children, perhaps even onto your grandchildren instead of debt. And so we should be happy sacrificing time into building this asset. There's no selling required, so we contract you out of selling. You're not allowed to sell in this business, but that's a great benefit, because who loves to sell? Anyone love selling products? No one likes selling products. What's wrong with you guys? Right? No one likes to sell. Brendan often jokes in his training. He says, the one thing people are more scared of than death is selling. Rather die than sell. Right? The nature of our products, because they're financial in nature, means we don't have any of the stock and distribution issues that tangible products have. So, like I said, there's no boxes of products waiting for you. You didn't have to bring a bucket to take product home. You don't have to worry about the space it takes up in the garage. There's no expiry dates on our products, right? No milkshakes and vitamins. That's a great thing. So we make the products as convenient as possible to engage with. But your success in this business is very much dependent on your ability to go out and build these channels of distribution. So I said I was going to show you what it looks like. It begins with you. You become a wealth engineer, and now your primary task is to go out and build this channel of distribution. All you're going to be doing is going out and telling people that this business opportunity exists. One that doesn't require selling. That'll get someone's attention, right? And if you're successful in that prospecting and you're able to expose the business to other individuals that see the potential of what DuePoint has, they also become wealth engineers. They join the business, and that is the beginning of your channel of distribution. Those people that you've brought into the business are going to go out and do exactly the same thing, and they're going to look for other people. They want to start their channels themselves. They also want to change their circumstances. That's why I say we collaborate together in this business. And so we harness this power of duplication. This is where the leverage comes into play, because this is what your channel of distribution can look like after a certain amount of time, right? And you're getting paid a recurring income for every dot that you see on the screen, but based on just that effort of bringing those first 5 individuals into the business. You didn't have to go find the 1,000. You just need to go find the 5 effective people that'll go out and work with you. So this is what a channel of distribution looks like. This is our disclaimer slide. Some people, I know why, some people arrive thinking, this is a scheme, or the word pyramid comes up, or you get accused of that it's this and that type of business. We're not any of those type of businesses. We're a 70-year-old insurance company. I don't think you get more boring than that. We are highly regulated by the Financial Services Board. We are listed on the Joburg Stock Exchange. What more do you need to prove to yourself that this is a very legitimate business opportunity that you can engage with? On the other side of it, we never promise anyone success easily. If anyone promises you success in any endeavor, they're lying to you. That's called a pyramid scheme, right? And that comes with a lot of risk. That's when you get told, put 5,000 Rand here, find 5 people, and I'll double your money next week. That's a pyramid scheme. This is a business that requires work. To be successful in this business is going to require sacrifice. Like I said, doing the business when you don't feel like it. So this is our disclaimer slide. Don't come to the presentation with grand visions of being a millionaire in 6 months. There's no such thing. Maybe the lotto. And we all know the lotto winners, they lose that money in the next 12 months. Right? So that's our disclaimer slide. How do you earn here at DuePoint? So there's 2 ways to earn at DuePoint. One is through our returns program. Our returns program is what we pay you at the end of every month. It's the recurring income that you get to generate. And then the second way is through our rewards program. So I'm going to show you how our returns program works. We pay a base return fee of 27.50 Rand for every product that you have in your channel every month, right? But that is, again, dependent on where that product lies. So remember the first 5 individuals you introduced to the business? That product lies on your first point, and on your first point you can see on the table we pay you double the 27.50 Rand, right? Those people go out and they bring in other wealth engineers that take out product. That product lies on your second point. And again, on your second point, we pay you 55 Rand for every product every month. Remember, it's always recurring income. And then your third point grows, and your business can grow all the way out to the 8th point. You'll notice that the multiplier then starts to drop steadily to the 8th point. But what's important to note is that from the 8th point onwards, we don't limit you. We will keep paying you the 4% from point 8, in theory, into infinity. We've already got wealth engineers that have grown their businesses to about 0.30 already. And they get paid all the way up to 0.30 in their qualified channels. So we don't limit you on how big your channel can get at DuePoint. We don't limit you on how much money you can earn at DuePoint. The accountability always rests on your shoulders. Right? So this is the mechanics of the returns. I think it's fairly straightforward. The next question you get is, well, give me an idea of how much money people earn in this business. Right? So what we did was, when we launched the business, we came up with a projection over the next 5 years. We call it the path to success. And it is dependent on a growth example, right? So it says if a new wealth engineer comes in and is able in their first month to bring 3 people onto their first point in their first month, and then 2 people every consecutive month, this is the kind of money that you can expect to earn at DuePoint. So we're at the beginning of January. Great time to get involved in the business because you've got a whole month to find the first 3 people. Now this is just an example. You can obviously do less, you can do more. Find 3 people in January, then 2 in February, 2 in March, 2 in April, and so forth. After 6 months, you can be expecting to earn about 2,500 Rand a month. Right? 2,500 Rand, certainly not life-changing, is it? You say no. Why not? We've got high rollers in the audience. 2,500 Rand's got no value. Right? I'm going to illustrate something to you that shows you how much I can change 2,500 Rand a month into R1 million saving for you. Do you want to see how? And this is how we need to look at money. We make the mistake constantly, and I do it myself. I've only caught myself out in the last year, is when I look at the value of money, I look at what I can buy, what I can spend it on, right? But if I give money to someone who's trying to leverage money, someone who's trying to build wealth, an entrepreneur that's trying to use the money, do you think they go out the next day and they just spend it? Like the rest of us do over Christmas and Black Friday, right? No, they try to leverage the money to get value out of that money, right? And that's the true value of money. Banks are very clear on the true value of money, and they use it against us, unfortunately. You're either on the right side of compound interest or you're on the wrong side of compound interest. Okay? So here we have an example of someone that's got R1 million of debt. They went and found a nice little townhouse here in Bryanston for R1 million, and they didn't have the money, so they went to the bank and asked for a loan, right? So they entered into a bond contract. The bank said, sure, we'll give you the money. It looks like you're earning a salary. You've got a decent credit record. Here's R1 million to buy your house, but you're going to pay us back for the next 20 years, right? We all know how the bond works. So I'm 40 today. I find my little townhouse. I get the money from the bank, and they say, right, you're going to start paying us. We give you a rate of prime plus 2. I'm going to be paying about 11,500 rand to the bank every month for the next 20 years. So when I'm 60, I'm going to make my last installment and proudly become a homeowner for the first time as I retire. Right? This is how a bond works. We all appreciate the bond. But I joined DuePoint at the age of 40, and 6 months later I'm earning this measly 2,500 rand that can hardly buy you a pair of nice Nikes. And instead of buying the Nikes, I listened to Rob and I put the money as an additional payment into my bond. Because Rob said, get rid of your debt as quickly as possible. You don't have to take the 20 years to pay off the bond. Pay the bond off faster. So I put the 2,500 rand in. What effect is little 2,500 rand going to have on a R1 million bond? Well, it's going to reduce the term from 20 years to 11.5 years. It nearly halves the term of that bond. Halves! In half. Right? 2,500 rand compared to 11,500 rand is what? Maybe 20%. But it cuts the bond term down by 50% almost. Do you know how much money it saves you in repayments back to the bank? Nearly R1 million. Your whole house cost R1 million, and 2,500 rand can save you the full value of that house. And that's only at 6 months. At 12 months, you're earning in excess of 100,000 rand in annual recurring income. Who would like a 100,000 rand check just before Christmas every year? Anyone get a 100,000 rand bonus this year? Hey, we dream about it sometimes. Dream about it. You keep going. At 24 months, you're now nearly close to 30,000 rand a month. You see how quickly that escalated? We started at 2,500 rand. We thought, oh, we're going to leave this presentation. This money is too small here. I'm looking for a get-rich-quick scheme. But already at 24 months, you're at close to 500,000 rand a year. At 36 months, you're at 50,000 rand a month. You want to look at the bond example again? At the 30-month mark, you're earning about 36,000 rand a month. The decision you need to make here, so here in the example, we've got someone that has a 5 million rand house that they're paying off, right, through a bond. You get to this mark earning 36,000 rand, your choice is going to be, do I buy a brand new 2 million rand car, or do I put the money in the bond? Who wants a brand new 911 Porsche GTS? Brand new one. Your friends are going to think you're successful, right? Or do you put the money into the bond? What are you really going to do? Don't lie to me. The office is closed. Don't worry, the camera's pointing at me. It's not pointing to you. Who's going to go with the Porsche, the 2 million rand car? And who's going to go with the bond? Okay. Let me show you what happens when we go with the bond. When we do that boring, mature thing of putting money into our debt rather, right? So I've got a 5 million rand bond. I put 36,000 rand as an additional payment into the bond. I'll pay that 5 million rand house off in 7 years. In less than 7 years. At the age of 47, I've paid my house off. Right? So I've now paid my debt off. What's the second aspiration after paying off our debt? What are we here to do? Build wealth. Right? Wealth through investments that appreciate and through ownership of assets. So I decide, okay, I'm going to invest in property. Everyone talks about investing in property. Let me buy another 5 million rand house. And I pay that off in the next 7 years again. So at the age of 54, I've got 2 houses. I decide to buy a third house. At the age of 61, I've now paid off the third house. I own 15 million rand in property assets by the time I retire. I'm living in the one house. I'm renting those other two houses out at about 70,000 rand a month in passive income. Do you think I can retire comfortably now? What would have happened if we decided to buy the Porsche? We would have paid the Porsche off over 5 years, right? The Porsche maintenance plan ends after 3 years. Has anyone ever sent a Porsche in for servicing? I'll tell you now, it's very expensive, right? You don't want to do that. But you're going to be doing that. You're going to be sending that Porsche in for servicing. You're going to realize that your Porsche has depreciated by 50% over the 5 years. And your other friends will have bought new Porsches, and now you want to buy another one, right? And by the time you retire, you realize you haven't created any wealth. What you've done is you've financed banks for the last 20 years. We have to make the decision 20 years before we get to enjoy the fruits of our decision. We keep going. We're only at month 30. At month 48, you're earning close to 70,000 rand a month. At month 60, 5 years from today, you're earning about 1 million rand in annual recurring income. How much will your spouse love you if you bring home 1 million rand check every Christmas? They will love you more than they love you today. All right? We can appreciate that as truth. Yeah? But this is all academic. This is just a theory that we came up with. It was a projection based on you bringing 2 new people into the business every month. That hardly sounds onerous, but you have to do it for 60 months in a row. When you feel like it and when you especially don't feel like it. But you can do a lot less, because I said it's an example. You can do less than 3 plus 2, and you can also do more than 3 plus 2. Right? So we constantly invite wealth engineers that show tenacity. They are leading examples in our business. We like to bring them up onto stage and to ask them to share their story. So here we have Nick and Shani. They joined on the 8th of September in 2016. They've been around for just over a year. And they were sitting in November, the value of their business was sitting at just over 4,000 rand. So hopefully that's gone up in the last couple of months. But they were tracking just a little bit less than 3 plus 2, right? We all turned our noses up at 2,500 rand after 6 months. They only got to 2,500 rand after about 10 months. Don't you think they should have given up? How many of us would have given up if we had worked for 10 months and only got to 2,500 rand? Because we always think, only 2,500 rand. What can 2,500 rand buy me today? But let me give you the value of 2,500 rand again. How much money do you need in your bank account to generate 2,500 rand of interest every month? You need 500,000 rand sitting in your bank account. Anyone got 500,000 rand sitting in their bank account? Not a single person. I'm hoping that you all aspire to getting to 2,500 rand, even if it takes you a couple of years, right? Or do we get frustrated with ourselves after 3 months and go, why am I not at 2,500 rand? I'm giving up. It's not worth my time. We need to change the way we think, the perception that we have around the value of money, because it gets us into trouble in all the decisions we make on a daily basis. Jack Delama from Mpumalanga, he joined about a year ago. By November, he was sitting at over 8,000 a month. Don Landon from the Eastern Cape in PE also joined in December. 11 months later, sitting at almost 12,000 rand a month. Motla Tsona from the Free State, wonderful lady from my hometown. See, I'm from the Free State. Joined in April and had massive growth in that period. I looked at her business. We looked at the business in the beginning of December. It was sitting at 25,000. She doubled it in 30 days. She doubled her business. Think about the increase you get once a year from your employer. 100% increase in 30 days. She's taking control over her income, and do you think she's doing it alone? She isn't. She's got very effective people on her first point that she purposely went out and found. She didn't go out to the street and say, anyone who wants a job, come speak to me. She went and built a board of directors, right? People that she can work with, people that she can count on. I want you to do the same thing when you go out and build your channel of distribution. We've got thousands of people joining DuePoint every single month that are creating an income for themselves beyond what they're earning at work. In insurance, we call it mitigating your risk, right? If you only have a single source of income, you are at risk to the economy, to getting retrenched, to not getting a raise, to inflation, to all these aspects. This business is about mitigating your risk, creating a second line of income for yourself. So you can look at everybody, right? But I want you to decide what you want out of this business and run your own race. You can't run like Bruce Fordyce, comrades. Right? As much as you want to, decide what your life has room for, what you can do, and run your own race. Decide what you want to aspire to in this business. There's a second way to earn at DuePoint, and that's through our rewards program. So this is the fun that we have along the way while we build recurring income. We call it the XP Rewards program, and basically we give you XP points, experience points for everything that you do in our business, like coming to presentations, bringing guests with you, logging into the website or the app, watching training. There's tons of things that you can do that earns you XP. And while you're earning XP and your channel is growing, right, your recurring income is growing, we reward you along the way, on top of what we pay you every month. So if you start out today, you'll start out as a rank 0 wealth engineer because you're not important to us. You see, you're not even on the slide. Can you see that? We don't care about rank 0 wealth engineers. Right? Anyone can join the business. So what? We care about the people starting to work. When you start to work and you earn 1,000 XP, you've got 4 products in your channel, and then suddenly you become rank 1 in our rewards program. And at rank 1, we give you a once-off 55 Rand reward, because this is not recurring, right? These are all once-offs. You get to rank 1, bang, you get an extra 55 Rand. You can go buy a muffin and a coffee and celebrate on your own, because you're now on the slide. You're on the slide. Now you're important to us, right? And as you start to rank up, you start to collect more XP. Your business starts to grow. You rank up, and the rewards get bigger. There you can see a 20,000 Rand check, a 50,000 Rand check. We give tools to our wealth engineers to help them build their channels faster and more effectively. Here at rank 5, Patrick and Pumi got this special little, we call it a lightning USB stick, because this little stick can plug into anything. It can plug into Apple devices, Android devices, even your banana devices, your tablets, laptops, computers, TVs. It plugs into everything, right? There's value in that, because Patrick and Pumi can now show people the DuePoint opportunity, because all our videos are on that little stick, and it doesn't matter what device they have around them. They can plug it into anything and show people. At rank 7, we get these premium business cards manufactured for our wealth engineers. These cards cost us 12,500 Rand a set, only if we're printing at least 2. If we print only 1, it costs us 20,000 Rand for 1 set of business cards. Why would we spend so much money on business cards? The same reason why you'd want to buy a Porsche instead of put money into the bond. What's the reason? Right? Appearances. Right? This business and prospecting is very much dependent on your success in those first couple of seconds. People, the moment people look at you, they weigh you up immediately. They tell a whole story to themselves in a few seconds of looking at somebody. So business cards play a very important role, right? That's why every single business person has business cards. When you put a 12,500 Rand business card on the table, and your business card costs about 50 times more than the person you're speaking to, I promise you they're going to take note and ask you, how do you get business cards like that? What is DuePoint all about? It affords you a couple of more minutes to explain what DuePoint's all about. At rank 9, this is actually one of the recurring rewards, right? So we only have a few recurring rewards, all are once-offs. This is recurring. What does that mean? When you get to rank 9, we take you and your family business class flights to a 5-star luxury resort for 7 days, all expenses paid trip, not once, every single year for the rest of your life. Imagine that. Imagine traveling business class only, ever. Who's flown economy class? It's fun, right? Nice in economy class. Right? Especially when you're 6'3", and the person in front of you moves their chair back, and then it breaks your kneecaps. Then you're wondering if you've got travel insurance, right? Business class, you can't touch, you can't even reach the seat in front of you. Try to stick your toe out, you can't reach it. So I suggest everyone aspires to traveling business class. So take a look. We've just come back from our Rank 9 annual conference. Take a look what we got up to in the last week.
All of your wind has gone, and all of path you've drawn, have sunk to the ocean sun where no one can see. You stand, don't let the dark embrace, cower the dreams you chase under the rust and blood. Don't let yourself give up.
So that's on offer at rank 9. That's 11 months away. You've got 11 months to work towards our next rank 9 trip, which happens in December this year already, where you get to rub shoulders with millionaires and feel like what life's like at that level. And not once, but every single year, right? That's rank 9. And that's just the beginning. At rank 11, we spend R250,000. We buy our wealth engineers a brand new car. No T's and C's. We buy the car cash. We give it to you in your name. Only thing you've got to worry about is insurance and petrol. That's rank 11. So that's our rewards program. You saw the program went down to rank 20. We've already designed up to rank 28. So we know what happens at rank 28. If you can get to rank 1, you can get to any rank. Do you realize that? Right? All those rank 9s are doing exactly the same thing people at rank 1 are doing. The activity is exactly the same. The activity never changes in the business. We've got a third way to benefit as a wealth engineer. That's through our wealth quests. Every month we challenge our wealth engineers a particular incentive. So January's wealth quest is called Hit 2018 Sprinting. So I'm glad you guys are here because it means you guys are ready to get going this early in the year while everyone's still driving back from holiday and still trying to get rest before they start their terrible jobs. We're ready to work. So the challenge is add 20 people onto your first point this month. If you do that, you'll obviously create recurring income for yourself. You might jump probably to rank 2 already in the rewards program, and we'll give you an extra 10,000 Rand at the end of the month, just to say well done. All right, so that's to get you started in January. We often get asked the question, how does DuePoint afford all of this? What does our business model look like? So this kind of illustrates what we do here. Traditional insurance companies in particular spend a lot of money. They've got massive budgets that go towards advertising to acquire clients. So at DuePoint, we don't spend a cent on advertising. You won't see a DuePoint logo outside of this building, right? Unless you see a fancy business card, but that's about it. We rely on our wealth engineers, on you guys, to go out and tell people about the DuePoint business opportunity. And so we don't have to spend the billions that the insurance industry spends every year on advertising. We can take that portion of our payments and attribute it to the returns and the rewards program for the benefit of our wealth engineers. And that's basically how our business model works here at DuePoint. We've got 3 products at DuePoint. They're all financial in nature. Their benefit is certainly financial in nature, and designed to benefit us with the issues that we have from a personal finance perspective. So Access Wealth is our first product. It's called the Access Wealth Plan. It is an investment product. It's actually made up of 2 separate products in our Access Wealth Plan. It's 299 Rand a month, and 100 Rand gets invested into a tax-free investment fund that's in your name. It sits with Sanlam. It's a full access, no restriction investment account. That means that you don't have to give us notice to draw the investment out. You know, with some of the investments, you've got to give 30 days or 60 days or 90 days or even a year's notice. There's 0 notice with this investment fund. And on top of that, we give you a little bit of insurance. So we give you 110,000 Rands worth of personal accident cover with this investment. So this is the Access Wealth Plan, product number 1. Product number 2 is called Wealth Guard, and this is only insurance. So this is strictly insurance. It's 274 Rand a month, but this time you get 1.1 million Rands worth of personal accident cover. So the personal accident cover in this product and the previous product, it's not funeral cover. It's not life insurance. The problem with funeral cover and life insurance is that they profile you from a health risk point of view, right? So if you're diabetic, suddenly insurance becomes very expensive. If you are over the age of 60, life insurance is almost impossible to get because it's so expensive. This product doesn't profile you from a risk point of view. So for 274 Rand a month, it doesn't matter whether you're diabetic, you've got a heart condition, you are 80 years old, the premium remains the same and the amount of cover that you receive remains the same. But it only covers you in the event of death through accident, right? So that's important to note. So this is Wealth Guard, our insurance product. The third product is called Wealth Points. This product aims to save us money on the money that you're spending every month anyway. So if you look at the list of suppliers, I bet you're spending money with at least one of the suppliers in the list, right? So for 274 Rand a month, you get to enjoy discounts that we've negotiated with those companies. So if you're looking for immediate benefit, this is a great product to have. So we've got new partners that we're adding to this product all the time. If you want more information on any of our products, go to our website. There's a full page of information on each of the products. If you want an in-depth review on each of the products, go to YouTube. There's a video review of every one of the products. But the products have been designed to be very straightforward. They are not complicated products, right? So what you see is what you get. Very straightforward. If you have any questions, come speak to me after the presentation. So what is the decision that we led to make this morning? We're all here with a need, because I assume you came here for the business, not for our free tea and coffee. Anyone like the tea and coffee? Okay, maybe you'll come again. We all have the need, right? I can assume that of everybody else. And we're here to mitigate risk. We're here to look at creating wealth. We're here to look at changing our circumstances. We are here to look at all these wonderful things like the returns program, the rewards program, the wealth quests that you get to engage with every single month. But there is a downside to the business, right? All of that is on offer if you're willing to do the work. And so the decision always for me is, are you really willing to do the work? Unfortunately, over the last 2 years, I see not that many people are willing to do the work, right? So perhaps 30% of you will get stuck in, will get to rank 1 in the first month or so. And unfortunately, the rest of us, I don't know, maybe life gets in the way, maybe we make up excuses why we can't do the business. But remember this, we're here to collaborate with you. You are with like-minded individuals. We all work together. We are not in competition with each other. At work, you're in competition with everybody, especially when that R word comes up. Then you're fighting for your job. You've got 10 million people standing in a queue behind you saying, if you don't want your work, I'll take it. Right? Here we get to collaborate together in a business that is growing when the rest of the country is in decline. So that is the decision we need to make this morning. Joining is very straightforward. Please read our code of conduct. Registering as a wealth engineer can be done online or on the app of the person that invited you here. Right? So you can do it either way. And then start applying yourself to the channel. So get stuck in. There's a very shallow learning curve. We've got 7 basic series videos that you can watch that will explain every aspect of this business to you and how to grow your business. So go watch the online training. You get XP while you watch the training too. Set goals for yourselves. Now this is something that I've found more and more people don't know how to do. Set goals. Setting a goal is something that gets written down with a deadline. Has anyone written their goals down on a piece of paper and put a deadline on them? Because unless you do that, you're not targeted to any aspiration. You aren't. And that goal cannot be, I want to be financially free. or I want to be this, or I want to be that. That's vague. You need to be very specific about your targets. And I promise you, if you set specific targets, you keep yourself accountable more easily to that target, right? So set the goals for yourselves, prepare a plan on how to get there, and in that time frame. And then the basic activity of this business is just speaking to people. So you can aspire to anything that you want in this business, but if you're not speaking to somebody every day, you're not doing the business. So if you skip a day where you don't speak to anyone, you didn't do business that day, right? Do business every day. All you need to do is speak to someone. It takes 2 minutes to chat to somebody. We've got merchandise. This is designed for your benefit. This is not a profit center for us. Please get business cards. Foremost, we spoke about those fancy black business cards, right? I'll pay for those ones. You pay for the cheaper white ones. Is that a deal? Get the business cards as quickly as possible. You cannot do business without business cards. Your credibility stays on the floor if you don't have business cards. You have to engage in this business 100%. Can't put 1 foot into the business. Get the USB stick if you're data shy. We've got all our videos on the USB stick. Nowadays you can plug them into TVs. The pins on the far top left there represent people who are rank 1 and above. So the moment you become rank 1, get one of those pins, because it represents to everybody around you that you know how to do the business, that you're on your way to rank 9, to rank 11, to rank 28. When you rank 0, you're on your way to nowhere, right? And that pin represents that. Don't go ask advice from somebody who's not wearing a pin. You're asking the person that's going in circles, right? So the pin is very important. And then we've got a host of other merchandise all on display in the cabinet. The pricing's on the counter. The credit card machine is waiting for you. All right. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. We've got about 500 videos on that YouTube channel. There is so much knowledge waiting for you here to engage with in this business. It'll also tell you on your mobile phone when a live stream is about to begin. Right? That's opportunity to spread your business into the entire country. The entire country is watching us right now. You're just the live studio audience here in Joburg. Download the mobile app, very important. It becomes your primary business tool at DuePoint, right? Most important thing that you need to have is the mobile app. So you need a smartphone, and then once you download the mobile app, update your profile photo, because you get 1,000 XP once you do that. How much XP do you need for rank 1? 1,000. There you go. It's a smile away. One smile and you've got 1,000 XP, right? So go do those things. Some don'ts, some things I want to highlight in our code of conduct, because I know you're not going to read the code of conduct. So there's a couple of things. You need the resources to do this business, right? If you are unemployed, if you don't have money, unfortunately, you're not going to be resourced to be able to do this business. That's just the harsh reality of it. Our business is not targeted as a charity business or to the 10 million people unemployed. It's not. We've targeted the business to people who have the resources that can thrive in our business. Those are the people we want to empower. That's how we will make a small change in this economy, by empowering those people. So, if you cannot afford our product, you probably can't become a wealth engineer. If you don't have access to the internet, or you can't afford data, or you don't have a smartphone, you're going to struggle in this business. If you don't have access to transport, you're going to struggle in this business, right? So those are things, very important things to consider before becoming a wealth engineer. Don't ever complete a DuePoint application form on behalf of somebody else. This is actually fraudulent. It's against the law. Black and white, against the law. A lot of people do this, unfortunately, right? Because they're trying to cater to people who don't know how to use the internet, who don't know how to use a smartphone. They say, Gogo, just write your details here. I'll do the application for you later tonight. That is fraudulent. It's against the law. When someone is doing an application, they're entering into a contract with us, right? So the person has to do it. By all means, you can assist them while they do it. Don't add direct family members or in your household. So if you have family members in your household sharing the cost of living, they cannot be in your channel. Everyone gets very worried about this rule. I can tell you now, your family members aren't going to do anything in your business anyway. Right? That's just a given rule, almost. So don't be too worried about it. But that's our rule. It's an anti-stacking rule. We had to come up with a rule because there's too much manipulation that happens in channel building at that point, unfortunately. Don't start your own DuePoint Facebook page or any social media stuff. Please just don't do it. Don't go out and advertise jobs on DuePoint. I see them all the time. The Roodepoort group. Anyone looking for a job, please contact me. Go visit this website. Here's my wealth engineer number. We find that every single day. We've got a company contracted just to look at that stuff constantly. We get a report every morning. Client service suspends all those people. And then you only get told that you're suspended when you try add somebody into your channel, and it comes up with a big suspension notice. Now that's embarrassing, right? Then you've got to phone client service. Client service says you've got to take down these posts. Once you've taken the posts down, tell us, we'll check, and then we'll unsuspend you. So don't do it in the first place, right? Tell everybody you know, don't do anything on Facebook. Don't send lead wealth engineers to DuePoint unattended. This speaks to your responsibility around prospects. Often what people do, especially the Facebook people, they go and they find these random people on Facebook and they say, oh no, go to head office, Rob or Brendan will take care of you once you're there. That is being very unprofessional, right? Look after your prospects. You don't know who you're prospecting. You could have someone that'll bring 1,000 people into your business, right? Treat everyone with respect and professionally. Don't send people unattended to DuePoint. Don't expect them to do things on their own. Okay. I remind you on the 10th of February, we've got our inaugural awards evening. So it's called Converge. It is by invitation only and only available to rank 4s and up. So it should be your motivation. All my wealth engineers that are rank 1, 2, or 3, you need to get to rank 4 by the end of this month so that you get an invitation to this event. A very exclusive, very fancy event we're having here in Sandton. Make sure you get an invitation by becoming rank 4 before the end of this month. Guys, we are done. I remind you, we've got the whole of 2018 ahead of us. You need to decide, are you doing this year differently to last year? Because in every other aspect of life, it's going to be the same as last year, if not worse, unfortunately. Your salary will go up by 5% if you're lucky. There'll be words like retrenchment floating around your business. Nothing is going to change in the economy. Nothing. The only thing you can change is something you decide to do this year. And what are you going to decide to do this year? I'm hoping you will decide today to design what you want in your future. Because you're the only person that can do it. Right? And you're in a business that will help you the entire way. We will help you the entire way. Go speak to the wealth engineers. My office is open. Right? We've got Teamworks meetings. If you want to come sit down and have a personal meeting with me, I will sit down and look at your business and strategize your success for the next few months. And you can set up that meeting with me every single quarter of the year. I'll give you that time. So that's the decision we need to make today. I hope the best for you over the next year, and I hope to see some of these faces at our Rank 9 trip. I want to see you and your kids sitting in business class next to me in 11 months' time. Right? That's a daily decision that you need to make for the next 11 months. Thank you, guys. Good luck. Come speak to me if you have any questions. Thank you.